All right, welcome everyone to part one of Introduction to Excel 2016. This is a CIS 105 course, and this is your data analysis course in Excel. I will be your instructor for the remainder of this course. This is part one of a 10-part series of introducing you to Excel and all that Excel has to offer. So before we continue, let me just kind of briefly go over the agenda with you guys so you guys can see exactly what we are going to cover today, okay? So I'm going to do a quick overview of the Excel workbook. I'm going to do a quick overview of the Excel worksheets. I'm going to introduce you to some of the few formulas that Excel has to offer. We're going to talk about entering formulas using the keyboard. I'm going to show you how to enter formulas using the point mode. We're going to learn how to use and apply the sum formula, the average formula, the max, and the min formula. In addition to that, you're also going to learn how to verify formulas using the range finder, which will be very helpful, especially if you're checking and making sure that your formula is accurate. I'm going to teach you how to check the spelling in a worksheet once you create that worksheet. And lastly, I'm going to show you how to create what's known as a clustered cylinder chart, how to make it look presentable in the business environment, so to speak. So without further ado, let's continue. So let's do a quick overview of the Excel workbook. Again, this is not a PowerPoint course. This is definitely a hands-on course. So a lot of the stuff that you're going to be learning here, we are actually going to be applying. Okay. So what does Excel look like overall? So here is what Excel looks like when you first open your Excel workbook. Okay, you're going to have the cover, okay, where you can open a blank workbook. If you don't want to open a blank workbook, you can click on business, okay, and then you'll see all the business workbooks that Excel has to offer. You can click on industry. You can go to education if you want some education workbooks, whatever the case may be as it relates to exactly what it is that you're looking for. Given that this is a Excel class from scratch, we're going to start with a blank workbook. So what is a workbook? Okay, a workbook is essentially exactly what you think. It's a book with a bunch of sheets in them. So this is a workbook, right? Think about if you have a physical workbook. In your workbook, you have many sheets, right? So if you look at the bottom right here, you will notice that it says sheet 1. So what does that essentially mean? What it's basically saying to me is the following. Okay, I can have as many sheets as I would like to have in that workbook. So let me highlight just so you guys can see. Right here is my sheet 1, right? You could see that it says sheet 1 right here, right? And if I come to the bottom of this, I can add sheet 2, I can add sheet 3, 4, etc. Right? I can add as many sheets as I want to add to this workbook. Again, remember, a workbook has many worksheets inside of it. So let's talk about what we have here. All right. So as you can tell, we can add sheets. All right. And just like I can add the sheets, I can name them. So if I was to right click on this sheet, I can rename it, let's say, grades. All right. If I'm creating grades here, I can rename this one to a report if I have a report for a department, or I can rename this to HR if this is HR related, or I can rename this IT if this is IT related. So I can name my sheets whatever it is that I would like to name the sheets. Just like I can name the sheets, I can change the color of the sheets. I can change this to yellow. I can right click on this sheet again, change the tab color to green. Whatever different colors you want to apply to the sheets, you can actually do that, right? The reason you probably want to apply different colors to the sheets is because it's really going to help you remember, oh, okay, I know I colored it orange, so whenever I see orange, I know what it means. Whenever I see yellow, I know exactly what yellow means. Okay, so we're starting to learn a little bit about our workbook. We know a workbook is essentially a book with many worksheets. So what do I have here? The first thing you need to understand and learn is exactly how Excel works and function. If I click on cell A1, you will notice at the top right hand corner here, in the box, it's showing me that I currently have cell A1 selected. If I click on cell A2, it'll show me A2 is selected. If I click on cell A3, it will show me that A3 is selected. If I click on A4 or B1, you notice that corresponding cell is also showing in my spreadsheet, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let's talk about a few things. Okay, so right now I'm highlighting this. Okay, what I just highlighted for you to see here is known as a row. Okay, so this is a row. Whenever you see someone highlight this section, it's a row. If you don't know what a row is, just think about basketball, right? When you go to a basketball game, a football game, or a soccer game, you sit in rows, right? So rows go directly across. Then you have columns, okay? So columns essentially go up and down, okay? So your columns are what goes up and down. So I'll change the text around too just so you guys can see exactly what it is that I am talking about, so there's not too much confusion, so to speak, right? So whenever you see something going up and down, okay, like this, it's a column and rows go across. Let me move this one here so that way people can see, right? So what I highlight here, this is referred to as a column, and this section here is referred to as a row. And the reason you need to understand that is because we're going to be working in our columns and we're going to be working in our rows. Again, columns go up and down, rows go across. So please make sure you remember that. There are also many other additional things that you need to really understand and learn about Excel. Okay, if you go to the bottom right hand corner, you're going to see the different page layouts, right? If I click on normal, this is what my normal sheet look like. If I click on the page layout will change. It will split into two, okay? And if I click on the page break preview, it will break the page into a preview for me. Given that I have nothing written in it, there's really nothing to currently see. So I'm going to go back to my normal view to view my spreadsheet. If you look over further to the right hand corner, you're going to see the zoom in and zoom out. So I can use the minus sign to zoom out, okay? And I can use the plus sign to zoom in, right? And that's really a matter of preference. If you're like me and you can't see that well, you definitely want to zoom in a little bit so you can see exactly what's happening to your spreadsheet a little bit cleaner, so to speak, all right? The most important thing that we're going to spend most of our time talking about and learning, because we're going to learn some formulas today, is the ribbon. Okay, so Excel also has what's known as a ribbon. If you're familiar with Microsoft products, you will become a guru with the ribbon. So let me highlight this ribbon so everyone can see exactly what it is that I am talking about. Okay, so this is known as your ribbon. If you look in your ribbon, okay, you have File, which we're going to talk about. You have a File tab. You have a Home tab. Okay, so I'll circle the File tab so you can see it. You have a Home tab. Okay. You have an Insert tab, right? And then you have a Page Layout tab, right? You also have a Formulas tab. You have a Data tab. You have a Review tab. You have a View tab. And you also have a Developer tab. If you watch all 10 parts of this series, you will know what all of these tabs do and exactly what it is that they are used for. Okay, so let's continue and exit of the tab. All right, so let's take a look. When I click home, you notice I have all of these different things that I can see here, right? When I click home, I can cut, I can paste, I can copy, I can use the format painter, I can use the different font, or I can bold things, italicize things, I can add a border, I can add background color, I can change the text color, etc. Okay, I can even change the alignment, I can wrap text, merge text, etc. I have the number section where I can apply different formats of numbers. I have conditional formatting, I have format tables, and I can even change the style of the particular cells that I want to create and add things to. So let's actually create a little sample to see exactly what's going to happen. I even have cells, okay? So in my cells, I can change a lot of things. I have my editing tools that I can utilize. Majority of our time is going to be spent between the home and the formulas tab, right? And we're going to learn a lot of these formulas. The goal is to go through at least 200 formulas with you guys so you can understand exactly what it is meant.